Welcome to Season 4 of the Biz Show, sponsored by InvestQuire. Discover what's next with this insightful podcast. And now, your hosts, Barry and Lisa. Hi, Barry. How are ya?
Hey Lisa, I'm doing great. How are you?
It's been a day, let me tell you.
It has been a day. We're still kind of working out some of the technical bugs on this podcast, aren't we?
I have been we're trying to navigate through all this. We do have to learn by failing forward, just like we tell other people.
And we've fallen forward. My nose is okay though. I haven't busted my nose, so I'm happy about that.
No broken noses. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Well, listen, everybody. Welcome to the Biz Show here on YouTube and, of course, across all of your podcast platforms. On Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple. What we got? iHeartRadio, Pandora, and a hodgepodge of others. So, welcome.
Welcome back, you guys. We missed you last week, but we've been so busy, and we're so excited about today's episode on the podcast. It's episode number 3, like Barry mentioned, and we're here to talk about your pitch deck, which is basically what you present to somebody to pitch your company and to seek capital, perhaps, or be hired, or what have you.
Yeah. So, I get all kinds of pitch decks all the time, and some of them are really great. Some of them they're just laughable because I get it. People they're new to this and starting a business, so they don't really know. And next thing you know, you got a pitch deck and it's got 40, 50 slides in it. They don't need your life history, right? Think of this as a commercial, and for whatever business you're running or the product you're doing or whatever the case might be, this is just a quick commercial, not an info commercial. It's just a quick 30-second commercial of who you are, what you're trying to do, and what you're asking for. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to kind of drill down on that for you and kind of give you some steps and some pointers.
Yes. Yes, Barry and I look at a lot of pitch decks. We get them emailed to us all the time, and Barry's biggest complaint is, oh my gosh, they are way too long. And the average person doesn't have a lot of time in their day. There's so many things we have to tend to. And so a really long pitch deck will probably get eliminated altogether. So if you want to get your pitch deck looked at in entirety, pretty much make sure it's like straight to the point and short and sweet. So what is short and sweet to us, Barry? What do we want to see?
Well, what we want to see is a perfect pitch deck would be 10 slides, right? Or 15. No, normally perfect is between 10 and 15, but the shorter the better because you've only got a finite time of that investor's time to really win them over. And if you can't get it done as fast as possible, then chances are real good you're not going to get an investment. So
Right.
and there are several things about a pitch deck, right? It's not just the size of the pitch deck, but it's about the content that's inside of that pitch deck too, right? And we'll go into that. So first things first, right? A pitch deck, 15 slides, right? It's basically an introduction of your startup. That's it.
Yeah, and you get one chance to make your first impression. So make it good, you guys, make it shine. So we're going to go through what each slide should have on it so that we can really guide you on what content to put in it.
Yes, and keep in mind this, and I'm on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I say this all the time. People say, here's a perfect pitch deck. Oh, here's a perfect pitch deck. And I'm going to tell you this. Don't listen to them because, and even what we're going to give you is a good pitch deck. It's not perfect, and I'll tell you why it's not perfect, because you need to customize that pitch deck to that individual investor, right? That's going to be the perfect pitch deck, because high net worth individuals look for something different than venture capitalists look for, and private equity firms look for something different than venture capitalists do, and then family offices look for something completely different than what they all. So they all look for something different. And of course, your friends and family, what pitch deck do you need for them? Maybe one slide. Hey, invest. I'm your cousin, right?
They're going to love whatever you put out there, so don't listen to them. They're going to give you a biased opinion. But
Right.
I've been learning now to go to ChatGPT on my phone if you're in doubt on what that specific audience is going to be looking for in terms of the content of a pitch deck, you can always go to ChatGPT, or you can ask Barry and I, and we'd be
Yeah.
happy to answer quickly for you over a message, on one of our platforms. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you
there's
could. Uh,
find your audience, right?
I want to throw this disclaimer out there. Don't trust ChatGPT. you you
We're
know,
all using it like a point of reference, but don't have it be your end all.
yes, use that as a starting point, right? It's not perfect. And keep in mind that ChatGPT and all these AIs, they're trained on the internet, and half of the internet is wrong, right? So what do you think ChatGPT is? It's half wrong.
Well, you don't want to say half of the internet is wrong. We don't have that statistic. But if you're going to be like logical and precise, but some of the things you find on the internet are not accurate. So I think that's what Barry was saying, right?
Exactly. It is. So let's start off. So basically, slide number one is your cover slide, right? What's going to be on that, Lisa?
So we want to make sure that you include your logo and branding on the slide. So when they have multiple pitch decks on their computer screen or on their desk, they could spot the one that they're looking for quickly because it's your brand, it's your logo, it speaks to the name of your company, right?
Right. And we will have some podcasts in the future about branding, but
Yeah,
we've also got a lot of podcasts from season one, two, and three that talk about branding as well, right?
go back to
So
those.
yes, go back to those, or we'll be talking about it again in the future, or just reach out to Lisa and I at InvestQuire, and we'll be more than happy to help you. The second slide is the problem. Why
Yeah.
why are you doing this? What problem are you trying to solve? And is it a viable and real problem, or is it just something that you think is a problem?
Right. That's again speaking to your audience and knowing what their problem could be and that you're going to solve it for them. So you definitely want to be speaking to pain points of, why you're the best company suited to fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly. The third slide is going to be the solution, right?
Yeah.
How are you solving this? And what are you going to do to fix it? And honestly, here visuals do matter. So
Mm.
make sure if you get some graphical representation of what it is, this is where you want to put that, right?
So is that because people lose interest on what they're reading and they kind of like to see some illustrations or some graphics and that kind of tie in and keep them interested? Would you say that would be accurate?
I would say that would be accurate. Plus the fact that a picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
So you can sit there and if you look at a spreadsheet and you're looking at the numbers going, oh, okay. But then if somebody puts in a bar graph or a pie chart up to you and stuff like that, it makes a lot more sense faster, right?
And there's all different types of learning. We use all of our senses to gather information. So some people may be more visual. So that's another reason why you'd want to put some visuals.
Right, definitely. So the fourth slide we're really looking at is the market opportunity, right?
Opportunity, yes. So you might have some stats in there, right, to show how the opportunity is, what the scale is of that in different sectors.
Yeah, exactly. So, and is your product really needed in that industry, or whatever the case might be? And then also, what that market looks like as far as competition and stuff like that. That could be a later slide, but nonetheless, this would be a good spot to have it in.
Yeah, and is the community growing? Like we just were promoting a liquor store opportunity in a upscale outdoor shopping mall, and we were pointing to the fact that the market in that area was growing because they were building a lot of high-rise complexes. So we were showing the buyer that there are going to be a lot of consumers and clients that would be walking into their business, right? So we were showing the opportunity for growth for that specific business because of its location.
Yeah, we had a lot of stats for that. And by the way, um, let me preface this for you too. Don't convolute your slides and just put a whole bunch of text in there so they got to read paragraph to paragraph. It should be bulleted items and something very simple. And Lisa is on me all the time, guys, because I'm a very analytical type of person. So Lisa will ask me, "Hey Barry, what's this or whatever?" And I'll give her a 65-page report of this. She said, "No, I just need to know."
Oh my gosh, yes. And then when the
So
font is really small, so definitely make it sizable so you could read it. A lot of people have, in their older age, the need for glasses and whatnot, as Barry sits there with his glasses on. So yeah, you got to make those, those main points and maybe in bolder font and make them stand out on that slide.
Who you calling
Yeah.
old?
I don't know. Are you older than me? You're my elder.
I think you're the elder here, but that's a battle for later. Um,
Oh my
so the next thing is your product, right? Really,
goodness.
if you
Product.
have a yeah, if you have a product, you want to hand it to them and let them feel it, touch it, and see it. I mean, that's if you got a physical product. If you don't, well, a service or whatever the case might be, then you're going to put some visuals up there on some screenshots or whatever it does or the case might be, right? So
We put a link in there, right? Maybe they could do a link to a video of the product or something on that slide to give
yeah,
them a point of reference. Yeah.
yeah, maybe you got a YouTube video and you can put that link in there and then show them that video. That works well too.
Right.
So this is the money shot right here on this next slide, right? This is the business model. This is this is what the investors are looking into. This is why they're going to invest because does the business make sense? Yes, there's a product or a service, that's great, but does the business model actually pass muster, right? So how are you
Profit.
going? Yeah, exactly. How are you going to make
Make.
money?
Yeah.
How are they going to make money, right? And we'll talk about that later as we get down to exit strategies and stuff. But, if they're going to invest in you, there needs to be something back to them. And it better be more than just break even.
Exactly. Some people already have in mind what the percentage is that they want as a return. So we definitely want this one to be accurate and also enticing.
Yes, exactly. So do your homework here. This is the money for your pitch deck. The next one though is go to market.
You're going to know yourself like, oh my gosh, this doesn't really show anybody that they're able to make enough money. They're probably not going to want it. So you're going to maybe have to tweak, maybe with your budget a little bit and buying goods from a different vendor that may be more cost effective because you really want that number to stand out.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So number seven is a go-to-market strategy, right? And
Yeah.
and so this is really how do you get your customers? How do you reach out to them? And then how do you scale your business, right? So think of this. Facebook, Amazon, Google, they were all small companies started in somebody's garage, right? And look at them today. So scaling your business, how do you scale your business from that into something the size of Salesforce.com or whatever the case might be? And maybe you're not going to go there, and that's fine. You've got a certain niche that you're following. Just make sure that you got that story to tell, and it's a viable story and something that that investor wants to hear.
Yeah, we always say know your numbers, right? This would be also a slide to share some numbers and some facts that you've done your homework to show them that you've actually thought about the vision and the forecast of your business ahead so that they're not left guessing. 'Cause if they have questions in their mind, they're not going to pull the trigger.
Well, exactly, they're not. They may ask one or two questions, but if it's too hard, then they're just going to walk away, right? Because they got six other pitches right behind you,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So the next thing is really traction, right? What's your traction? I'll tell you this. Don't go to an investor unless you've already dipped your toes in the market, maybe got a few customers, users, a pilot, some type of a pipeline. Those are what's going to speak volumes to the investor, right? So you got to have something. If you're starting a brand new business from scratch and you have no customers, you got nothing, there's a 95% chance you're not going to get any money either,
Yeah, it's like
right?
being a great chef and making this fantastic meal, and you yourself don't even know what it tastes like. But you want to test it, you want to be able to speak to it from your own personal experience, having driven it, driven your product or service and gotten feedback on it.
Yes, exactly. Even if it's just five customers or something like that,
Yeah,
it's something, right? It shows that you've gone out and you've done a little bit of homework, and now you know that this is actually a viable product.
that's
And
right.
And then after that, the next slide is also another money shot, is the team. Who's on
Who's
your team?
Yeah, who's behind the product and services? Who are they going to be working with? Who's the people that are really passionate about what they are speaking to? We want to get to know those people and know who we're going to be aligning with, right?
Right, exactly. And as we talk later about different types of investors, there are certain types that will invest in you over your business, right? So they're more about, does this guy get it, or girl? Does this person get it? Let's say that.
That's right.
And can we work with them, right? Are they trainable? Or, can we learn from them, whatever the case might be. So
And
this
that
is,
in itself could be a deal breaker. I mean, they could just be, feeling like they're just not going to work cohesively with that person. And so that in and of itself could be a deal breaker. So definitely you want to introduce the team and have like, a little bit of a title or background behind each person that is on the team.
yep. Oh, yeah, background, definitely. They want to know who the players are, right? If you're sitting there and you're trying to build up a coffee store, right? The rival Starbucks. Well, do you have any baristas? Do you have people that have that experience? Or are you just got your coffee pot that you brought from home and you're filling people's coffee cups of it like they do at Denny's? You know?
Right, right.
So,
Yeah.
so you got to kind of play those out. So the next one is also a big slide, right? That's your financials. And if you're
Right.
brand new, you don't really have any financials, but you better have projections. And you need to have a 3, a 5, and possibly a 10-year projection. And,
Yep.
and it kind of depends on the space you're in. 3 to 5 years for sure is what you need. Um, and
A lot of things change in 10 years, but 3 to 5 is very quick and short and
yeah,
realistic for
and,
people to have a goal on.
and they're just projections. But listen, be honest, right? Research the market, make sure it's credible, make sure that you're not 25 times more than what the competition is that's selling the same product you are, because they're going to laugh at you. It's like,
Oh yeah, oh my God, they're crazy. We're not even going to entertain this at all. So don't have unrealistic numbers and be
right.
very maybe point to the source of how you arrived at those figures.
Yes, exactly. References would be good, right? So, just like you're doing when you're writing books, and sometimes you get references and footnotes and stuff like that. That would be good to
Right.
have. If you're coming from Gardner
Exactly.
Group, or,
Yeah.
from Business Insider or something like that, or Fortune magazine, those are going to be credible sources to quote from.
Yep.
And I've seen pitches that completely don't have the slide in it.
They disregard it altogether. It's like they don't even have homework. They're
Yeah,
like a shooting in the dark, you know? You
yeah.
can't like in a black dark room with no flashlight. You have to show the vision and the path of how you're going to get there. And so
Good
definitely put that
analogy.
slide in there. Yeah.
Good analogy. I like that.
So,
And then
Barry,
the last slide would be the ask, right? How much you're asking for. I see this a lot of
yeah.
times. It's not there. It's like,
People
okay,
leave that out.
what do you want?
They went through all of these slides and then they forget to ask, right?
How much are you looking to raise, right? And then also use of funds, right? How are you going to use these funds?
Yeah.
If you're asking for $500,000, or whether it's $5 million, right?
Yeah.
What are you spending my money on?
Yeah. Is it all going towards salary or is it going towards the product? Is it going towards marketing? You need to break that down.
You should break that down, but I will tell you this: most investors click off when you say advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
Most of them don't want their dollars going towards advertising.
They,
They'd rather you be organic, because
yeah.
that's a waste of money. All they're doing now, you're giving your money to some social media website, to a magazine, to radio, TV, whatever, right?
Expecting the
Um,
other person to do the work and sell your product when they know that you have to put in that hard-earned effort in especially the first 2 to 3 years of a business launch.
right.
So yeah,
So that's the 11 slides. There are a couple more that can be powerful slides for you to add in there. They're optional, right? But really, it would be good if you had something about your competitors and what makes you
yeah,
different from your competitors. That will help explain more of the story.
yeah. You could talk about that in the market opportunity slide number 4.
Hmm.
We really have done your research on the market and who the competition is. I think that's
Yeah,
really, really put some meat into there that you've done your homework from all angles.
yeah.
What's another optional slide?
Well, another one was going to be a roadmap, vision, or pipeline, right?
Vision. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to see that you got a pipeline, you got a roadmap, you know where you're going, you've thought this
Yeah.
thing through.
And then you
And
mentioned
then,
this earlier, the exit
yes,
strategy. You
the
said
exit
that's
strategy. So, what is an exit strategy? Because a lot of people don't understand this. An
right.
exit, an exit strategy is when you or the investor decides to leave the business.
And
So,
it's going to be profitable at that stage. Otherwise, they're
if
leaving at a loss. So,
yeah,
yeah.
it better be. And the thing is this, right? So your exit strategy is different than the investor's exit strategy. So your exit strategy is going to be I'm retiring, I'm selling the business, having my children run it, whatever the case might be. An
Yeah.
investor, okay, I've put in $100,000. I want now $200,000 back at some point, whether that's in 2 years or 5 years, whatever the case might be. So you know, stock option or not stock options, but stock and what that stock is worth and things like that. Maybe you're building this big company and maybe you're going to go on the public market, right? Well, then that's a 10-year, not a 10-year, but a 5-year process to really build that company up, go pre-IPO, and then in that pre-IPO stage, you're really legally putting the business together, making sure it's all fun and nice and tight, getting all the financials and all your accounting and stuff in order because guess who's going to look at it? Uncle Sam, right? The
Yeah.
SEC is going to scrutinize this thing left and right. So you better have CPAs and attorneys working around the clock for you to get this
Yeah.
thing straight if that's the direction you're going. But by that time, you've been in business probably a good 5 years already, and you're already making several $1,000,000 a year. You're not going to take a company well, even if you got a company that's making $3 to $5 million a year, you're not going to get on the stock market. Your company needs to be making more somewhere along the lines of 15 million and above. Really, 100 million is where the kind of entry into the stock market is.
Yeah. Yeah, you went a little deep on that one, but yeah, the exit strategy can be handled by people that don't know when they're able to exit. And so you want to have people in place, within your support system to be able to analyze that for you in advance and be able to have a financial advisor that you work well with and be able to discuss what your business goals are. And you may not have that designed or defined, I mean, at the time that you're pitching your deck to somebody. So that will maybe come later. That's why the slide that you're talking about, the exit strategy slide, could be an optional slide. You may not have that defined at that juncture.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but we do that all the time. You analyze a company and determine, is this the right year for you to sell and exit? We just had a company take their business off the market because they did not get the amount of interest at the price that they wanted to sell for. So they're going to continue working for like 2 to 3, I think he said, more years before they
Yeah.
exit. They'll
And
hit that mark.
you brought up a good point too, right? People always come to me and say, "Oh, my company's worth $5 million," and I'm like, "Okay, how do you know this?" Well, this is it. I said, "No, no, 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 no. Your company is whatever worth the market will bear. Period. Right? So,
Totally that.
and,
Yeah.
and just like when you're selling houses, right? Somebody wants to sell their house for $1 million, but when you come in and have it appraised, it appraises at 600,000.
Oh my gosh, the phone didn't ring. Why didn't the phone ring? You must
Yeah,
not be. Or
yeah.
it could just be overpriced. So yeah,
So when
market will.
people Yeah, exactly. So when people come to us and they're selling the business, we do evaluation on it. We go through all your financials and stuff like that. And then we have we have a
Yeah.
formula that's a standard formula that all business brokers follow. But there are some caveats, right? And there's things to add-ons and stuff like that. But yeah, it's never what you think it is. It's always less.
Yeah, and we talked about this, I think, at the beginning of the slide, but or at the beginning of our podcast. We're talking about pitch decks and slides today. But know your audience, know who you're pitching the deck to, understand the different reasons why those types of individuals invest what are their goals, and then in the pitch deck you could speak to those goals so you're really hitting the mark with them, right?
Well, you're right, Lisa. You need to know the investor. And let's talk about basically there's 5 types of investors, right? Because friends and family, but we're not going to talk about friends and families because you should probably already know how to talk to your parents, your grandparents, your brother and sister and stuff like that.
Well,
But
you know them better than anyone, so you know exactly what they want and
yes,
what they're
so
gonna buy.
so there are 4 types, right? High net worth individuals. Who are these? These are mega millionaires, billionaires, so on and so forth. The uber rich, right?
They
They,
usually like to do business with like people, right? Other
yeah.
high worth individuals. So
I meet a lot of investors who are not with private equity firms or family offices. They're just kind of an independent, right? And so they just kind of go on their own and they see things. Okay, yeah, I'll drop some money in this because I like it or whatever. So that's those type of people, right? They bet on you typically,
yeah,
right? They bet on you. Then we come across venture capitalists, right? Venture capitalists, they are looking for speed, they're looking for
all about
scale,
the numbers. Yeah,
and they're
those.
looking to make money fast, right?
Yeah, they want in and out.
Right. So total addressable market for them is huge, right? How does this become a 10x? So that means if they invest $100,000 in you, they're expecting to get $1 million out the back end,
Mhm. That's right.
right?
So you want to gear your pitch deck towards that 10x
Yeah, yes, if that's who you're pitching to.
or
The
greater than
next,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
the next would be a PE or a private equity firm.
Yep.
They typically invest in later stages and larger companies. So private equity firms typically are going to come into companies like Amazon or into Facebook or Instagram or Meta, should I say.
Have a
And
track record of
yeah,
success and numbers and growth, right?
the one thing about PEs, private equity firms, though, they will take and they'll buy your company. Right? They will, even if you're a small company and you're making $2 million a year. And here's their strategy, how they work. They're going to take that, their private equity, so they're going to buy that company. They're going to inject all kinds of money and staff and stuff like that. They want to build that company up. And then they'll keep it for 5 to 7 years and then they'll sell it off.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're still with the company, you're going to get sold off with it.
Yeah. So you might want to start looking for a new job when you get that, when that purchase goes down, when that
Right.
acquisition goes. Yeah.
And then you
And then
have
the
kind of the hybrid model, family offices, right?
yeah.
And
Hmm.
family offices kind of sit like private equity firms and venture capitalists, right? But they're more of a long play, long term, right? They can go 5, 10, 20 years uh, with you and working back and forth, so on and so forth. So, and investing over and over again, or whatever the case might be. I like working with family offices because you're building a symbiotic relationship with them, right?
Well, the name speaks volumes. I mean, they become like your family because they're going to support your
Hmm.
growth and your goals, and so they stick in there for through the thick and the thin, right? And ultimately, want to get to that profit margin. But yeah, the
Yeah.
family offices that we know are great to work with, and they actually know a lot of other people that they bring to the table for you. So
Well, you made a good point. They
yeah,
all know each other, right? So if you go pitch to one, a week later, everyone in the market's going to know you're out there, you're pitching, and you sucked at it.
hopefully you don't get that feedback,
Right.
but
So here's 2 things to note, right? Number
how do we know
one,
who to pitch to, Barry? How do we know who to pitch to?
yeah,
If
and we'll get to that one, but I want to say one thing before we leave this, and that
yeah,
is this: if you have a biotech company, then you need to find biotech investors. If you have a
yeah,
SaaS or a tech company, you need to find tech or SaaS type of investors, right? If a pitch deck for a SaaS company and a biotech are completely different, and so
yes,
are the investors. And we know
yeah,
plenty of investors that only, we have a VC that we know, and they only invest in pre-seed and startups, and they only want to do tech,
Yeah.
right?
That's very common. Yeah.
Yeah. So that. Okay. So now you said, who are we pitching to, right? And we're going to talk about sizes, right? And because that kind of really can define the
This helps you
size.
define
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So where do we start, Lisa?
So yeah, so under the 250,000 will be your sphere of influence, I like to call it. Your friends and family or your angel investors, and that that's where you would start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can have high net worth individuals in there, but yeah, mostly angel investors, mostly your family under $250,000. And
Yeah.
then after that, you're probably going to go between 500,000 and possibly 2 million. You're going to look at uh, still you could have some angel um, syndicates, right? And those syndicates are companies like Keiretsu Forum. Keiretsu Forums has a whole bunch of angels. Every month they have a pitch day where investor or founders can come in and pitch their people, and there's probably 50 angel investors sitting in the audience.
Right.
Um,
And get
so
some VC firms in there too. Some VC firms would be at that
yes, yes,
price
yes,
range.
yes. So yeah, and there are some early stage family offices, some of them that like to work with startups and stuff like that. And we
Yeah.
know a VC that likes to work with startups too. So after that, though, where do we go next?
At 2 to 10 million range, and so you're going to be dealing with the PEs, the private equities, the later stage VCs, and also family offices and investment banks, right? Now
Yeah,
you're
these.
talking about larger scale of money, so you're going to have to go to the sources where those monies are viable and available.
Yeah, yeah, definitely over $10 million. Large family offices. I've not really seen many late stage VCs uh, at this size. Mostly they're around the 5 million mark, but nonetheless.
Mhm.
So if you're pitching $5 million to your doctor or your dentist, you're going to be disappointed, right? They're not your audience, right? They're not. So okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, so that kind of gives you the scale of where you're looking for, and now you know the different types of investors. Um, so when you're going
And
out
then,
there and
yeah,
networking, these are the people you're going to be looking for based off of what you're
right.
trying to do.
Yeah, we like to make sure that you are, you know, also realizing not what works in terms of building your pitch deck, but we want to talk to you about, what common mistakes that we found in the pitch decks that we've received or people do when they are, promoting their pitch deck or formulating one, and just to kind of avoid these things. I don't.
So what are some of the common mistakes, right? The common mistakes are there's no clear ask. Like I don't know how many times I'm looking to pitch it. Okay, what do they want? They don't even
And they
ask,
don't even know the answer. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
right?
how
So
many times have you watched Shark Tank and they keep asking, well, how much do you need?
actually, Shark Tank is a good judge, not a judge, but a good way for you to start figuring out how to pitch. And you can see some of the
Yeah.
questions they ask. Some of them are hard questions, and people stumble over the answers all the time. And then as soon as you stumble, you're out the door.
Oh, yeah, they could smell the lack of confidence.
Like sharks, right? They smell the blood in the water.
Oh, it's sort of like dating. If you have a date with a man that's not confident or a female that's kind of like doesn't really know how to portray herself or they don't really know themselves. I mean, that's very, very evident in the first date. So think of it like your first date,
There you
right?
go. Yeah, yeah,
This is your
definitely.
first time making an impression on somebody. So
Yeah.
make it a good one. And then also, we talked about this because Barry, sends me 60-page emails, but overloading your pitch deck with too much text. And I think I loved the fact that you said add visuals because that made me know that maybe we're over the hump of of having too much text on everything. But
The
I
next
guess there's a
e-
time and a place for it, right? I mean,
the next email I send you is going to have nothing but pictures in it.
I want pictures. Yeah, I want it to be like a story.
But yeah, don't overload it, right? People don't want to read a dossier. They don't want to read a novel. All they want to
No,
do is figure out what you're trying to do and what you want.
yeah,
And then
What
One of
else?
the
Oh,
key things here is too much product and not enough business. They're investing in the business, not the
yeah,
product, because that business is going to probably have more than one product, right?
yeah,
So you might start out with one, but hopefully down a year down the road, you've got two or three, whether they're products or services, the case might be, right? So don't focus too much on that. Focus more on the business.
yeah, yeah. Impress them.
Yep.
And then any market data gaps or weak
Or lack thereof.
lack thereof. Yeah.
Yeah, lack thereof, right?
Not knowing your competition, just thinking you're the only one on the universe has thought of this idea. Like you got to find the holes and the gaps in the story
Yeah.
and let the investor know that you're aware of those and this is how you're going to remedy that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. And then another red flag, these ones are kind of actually big, right? Um, your legal, the legal piece of it, your structure, right? Are you a sole proprietor? Are you LLC? Typically, you're going to get funding if you're LLC or above, right? Typically, sole proprietors and partnerships don't really get funding, at least not from, the big four. Maybe friends and family, sure. Um,
Yeah, we talked about that last week on our entity structure podcast. So,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
So, what's a cap table? People ask all the time. A cap table is a capitalization table, and basically that's the stock and who owns how much stock in the company, how much is left, and how much total do you have. For instance, if you have a C corp and you got 1 million shares that you're authorized to distribute, then you've got outstanding shares, and then you've got shares that you've distributed, right? So um, that's what your cap table is who are all those investors, how much do they have? And know this, when you seek capital, there's going to be a term that you're going to learn really fast called dilution, right?
Yeah.
And so the more and more money you take, the more and more that investor is going to have more stock in the company, and those people's stock is going to wane and shrink. And so is yours. So if you're a founder and you're asking for $10 million and you've got a 15% stake in your company, after you've raised a few rounds, you might only have, it might go to 12 and then the 9 and then the 7%.
Right.
So
Yeah. So know your structures, know your cap tables, have those answers, even if they're not part of the pitch deck, have them ready to go, for the next round of conversations.
yeah, and also IP, right? Do you have intellectual property? Do you have patents? Do you have copyrights? Is there a moat around your product that nobody else can sell or build that product? Those are going to be huge, and those need to be in your pitch deck as well, because that's going to speak volumes to do they want to invest or not.
Well, there you have it. I think we've covered the gamut with regards to pitch decks. And if we haven't, don't be afraid to reach out and ask us any questions that you may have. We'd be
Yes,
happy to get back to you. We love learning through your questions, so it helps us stay sharper too. So yeah,
yes,
don't be afraid to bring a comment, an idea, or a question forth, and we would love to address that.
yeah, and don't forget this, right? There's no perfect pitch deck. Um, these are just standard, and the perfect pitch deck is going to be the one that you fine tune to that investor, right?
That's the biggest piece of this today. That should be your takeaway.
There's one other thing that please don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and leave a comment, right? We want to hear from you, but we're also trying to grow this. We're brand new on YouTube, whereas we've had 3 seasons in the audio world. We're just coming up on YouTube right now, guys. So help us
We want to
out.
show some impressive numbers on our pitch deck. So please
Yes.
subscribe.
Yes. So we're here. We're here for you guys, right?
Yeah, thank you all for listening, and we look forward to meeting again next week. Thank you all for listening to the Biz Show podcast. Subscribe to stay updated and follow Barry and Lisa on Facebook at The Biz Show. Share your comments or suggest business topics that you'd like to hear. Thank you all for listening. Bye.